This photograph was taken in 1933, and this photograph represents a very unique story in the Holocaust, as it tells the story of the Grunwald family. The woman in the photograph is Vilma, and she is seated with her two sons, Jan and Misa. In 1942, when the Grunwalds were living in Prague, they were deported to the Theresienstadt ghetto, where the women and the children were separated from the men, and the family lived in terrible conditions. In 1943, the Czech inhabitants of Theresienstadt were deported to Auschwitz, but in July 1944, the Czech family camp was liquidated, and SS officers sorted the inhabitants into those who would be sent to forced labor in a different part of Auschwitz, as well as those who would be sent directly to the gas chambers. And Kurt, the father, was selected for forced labor, and originally both Jan and Misa were sent towards the gas chambers, but someone who Misa knew pulled him out of the line and quickly sent him with the older children, even though in reality the Nazis had decided that he was too young to work, whereas Misa's older brother Jan had to stay in the line of people going to the gas chambers because he walked with a limp, and Vilma decided to go with Jan towards the gas chambers and let her youngest son and her husband go towards forced labor. But what's so unique about this story is that Vilma somehow figured out what was happening. She figured out that they were being taken to their deaths, essentially, and she wrote a letter in July 1944 to her husband. She wrote about how he should not blame himself for what happened, and he should take care of Misa, their golden boy, and she was feeling calm and at peace despite what she knew was coming. And after that, she was taken to the gas chambers with Jan. Somehow, the letter that she wrote made its way to her husband, Kurt, but he never showed it to Misa. And both he and Misa survived, and they moved to the United States after the war. And it was only until after his father's death that Misa discovered the letter, and he shared it with the museum in 2012. I think this is one of the most emotional stories for me. It's difficult to speak about because we get caught in how this was someone's life, and this is not a number or an imagined event. This was really someone who was killed by the Nazis, who was murdered, and there were millions of others like them, but to focus on one story specifically and one instance and what one person was thinking before she was murdered, it's very difficult to think about and to kind of sit with that.